Okay, morning, folks. Welcome to the briefing on Saturday the 30th. The weather patterns at the moment seem to be running true to sort of the timings that we've seen over the last few days, certainly when the BBC was saying as well. So it looks like we'll actually get something out of today. I was concerned that these frontal systems here that you can see on the chart we're going to linger over the country for most of the day, but the fronts are moving through quite readily. This is the 12 o'clock midday predicted from the Met Office. I think that might be actually they might be a little bit further than that by that time, looking at the current movement of the rainfall radar. And behind this, you've just got a sort of slight southwesterly flow. And the isobars open up, so the wind will reduce quite noticeably from mid-morning onwards. The pressure's still fairly low, and this is the next one that's sort of winding itself up to come in tomorrow. As you can see, it then starts tracking a little bit more northeasterly, so we might be in a sort of gap between the fronts here tomorrow, fingers crossed. So today, Taffs, Farnborough, this is all about timing, really. Yeah, probably 170-12 knots is what we had when the front's been going through. The tempo between sort of 8 and 6,000 meters rain showers. I think that's, you can move the timing back on that. I think you're looking more like about 11 o'clock. It'll clear Farnborough, maybe even a little bit before that. Then Prob 30 this morning, and again the hours can go back a little bit on this one. 15 gusting 25 in the showers and rain, broken at 1200. But the important one is becoming this morning light westerly, 250, 260 seems to be the general forecast, and it says between 11 and 13 UTC, or 12 and 2. I think that's going to be a little bit earlier than that. I think you're looking at more like about 11 to 12 o'clock at local time at Lasham. The wind will have dropped off. It'll be post-frontal, quite pleasant. Upper winds are still going to be a little bit brisk, 20 knots, I think, across us, maybe a little bit less than that as the afternoon goes on, but more or less westerly, 260, 260, 270. So a touch of south in it, which will probably just dictate which side of the runway the cables go on. And it's pretty constant all the way up, so it's working on 20 knots at most. I think it'll be about right. The sat pick, this is about half an hour ago. This shows the last bit of the rain around here, and looking at the rainfall radar, that's Salisbury sort of area at the moment. Clear beyond that, and these are just showers off the west of the country, tend to sort of build up over the sea and then come inland and die out. So should be quite a pleasant day, and I think that there is a chance of an odd shower, but I think there'll be few and far between. So you can see the line of the rain, the real heavy stuff going through Lasham. That's cleared Salisbury now, at Winchester, so it'll be through Lasham in an hour and a half. It'll be good enough to start getting the hangar unpacked. You can see the showers out to the west, but they're mainly over the sea, and they will just die out, I think, as they come over the land and dry out a little bit. So Top Meteo are suggesting same sort of thing. Showers of rain, that's 9 o'clock this morning. Run it through a couple of hours. By 11 o'clock, clear for us and beginning to get better. And then cloud bases of 2 to 2,500 feet for most of the day, showing most of the showers, if they're going to be anywhere, they're in the West Country, not over us. So it should be a reasonably pleasant day. Cloud amounts, so by by 10 o'clock, I think the rain's beginning to clear. Clouds picking up and going up, but it will just be cumulus and spread out, not particularly high for most of the day. So a reasonable amount of cloud, sort of 5 to 7/8, I think. Perhaps breaking up a bit in the afternoon by the looks of this, and you can see some of the showers here out to the west. But I don't think it's going to be a problem for us. So it should be a reasonable day's flying with a light westerly wind. Obviously, it's rained in the last 2 days, so I'll talk about setup in a minute when I've gone through airspace. So locally, usual stuff. Southampton's hours of operation, just slightly different to their normal published hours. But daylight hours, the airspace is active. There's gliding at Middle Wallop this weekend. They no-tam it because it's not marked on the map. And number 12 is Salisbury Plain danger area, crossing services not available. Let's go to number 13. A firework display at Upton Gray, and I think we'll have finished flying by then because it's dark. So that's about it in the local area. Very little going on around here. Okay, so operationally, a couple of things going on. In theory, there's an inbound jet from Denmark, which, if it is going to be in at the time suggested on the flight plan, it will have departed about half an hour ago, and we'll be getting in around about 10:30. The revised flight plan, but I think that might just be different routing points rather than a revised timing that I've seen. So if you anticipate on 10:30 and work around that, hopefully when that's done, things will be ready to go out and fly. But the grass is going to be pretty damp in places, so I suspect it's going to be fairly waterlogged to the south of the main runway, and also a bit damp to the north. So although I'm not running the field today and Merv Saunders is in charge, if we do decide to go on the main runway, it'll probably be with a launch point further ahead, somewhere around here, just on the start of the intersection between 27 and 23, and the winch right the way down here, giving about a 11 to 1200 meter run. But that also allows us to land on the runway and minimize the use on the grass. But what we need, there's two things we need to avoid. One is conflicting circuits to the same landing area. So basically, if we do operate runway operation with landing on the runway, the circuits to the north will still land grass north side, don't land on the main runway. If you circuit to the south, you can land on the main runway, or if you haven't got room, on the grass. And if you are landing on the main runway, try and land on one side or the other, so that then leaves room for someone to land alongside you, or gives them a reasonable part of the runway. Don't taxi all the way up. Please stop 50 meters before the launch point. I certainly don't like to see people taxiing all the way up and then relying on the wheel brake to stop, because just occasionally wheel brakes in gliders don't work. So just be aware, no taxiing. And if you stick to those guidelines, it should be a fairly simple, safe operation. Obviously, with a slightly reduced winch launch run, you're going to get slightly lower heights, but there's a 15 to 20 knot headwind, so it won't be a problem with sort of launch heights today. As I say, towing out as well, out to the grass, just avoid the very edge of this on the grass, because it's quite soggy right near the peri-track edge, so come out onto the grass and then just tow down the middle here and out to the launch point. Okay, Merv Saunders is running the airfield today, and I'm sure once the rain clears, he'll be getting the kit out, and you'll all be going and enjoying a nice, pleasant day. And hopefully have a good one.